I'd like to call this meeting of the Elkhorn Common Council to order. It's September 3rd, 2024. Will you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Roll call, please.
Tim Sharota,
Here.
Peter Harvey,
Here.
Gary Payson Jr.,
Here.
Ron Dunwoody,
Here.
Scott McClory,
Here.
Ken Minell,
Here.
Kurt Harkness.
Here.
Next is public comment. Do we have anybody here that would like to be heard? I'll read the little statement I need to, and then if you'll come up to the podium and state your name and address, and then you have 3 minutes. Public comments are limited to 3 minutes each. The public may speak on any item of city concern, whether or not the topic is included on this agenda. However, if the topic does not pertain to an item listed on the council agenda, the council is not permitted to address or discuss the matter during this meeting. Under open meeting laws, the council must notice an item on the agenda to allow discussion on that matter. If council is not permitted to discuss your concerns, your comments will be considered and may be placed on a future agenda for further discussion. You're good?
Good evening. My name is John Bruce. I live at 34 Monica Drive, Elkhorn, Wisconsin. My issue is I play cards on Thursday in the afternoon at the library in Elkhorn, and I'm trying to ask if we can have, on the east side of the building, you have 4 signs that have 2-hour parking. In our group, we have 35, maybe 40 people on that Thursday, and we don't have enough parking spot on that parking area, so we have to park out in that street, and it's only 2-hour parking, the signs. So I would like to have those moved to 4 hour, because our group lasts about that long. And then on north side of the building, you have where they pick up or delivery. It's a patio. I would like to have a rail put up there, because I have group people that bring in the stuff, and when they step up on that thing, if they lose control, they have nothing to grab a hold of. And then the other issue is, in the wintertime, I've been out there a lot of times to make sure my people make it inside that thing. I go in kind of early to make sure the girls or whoever's bringing in the stuff, so they don't fall. I have put down salt, and I don't think I should have to do that. I think it's the city's responsibility. I could be wrong, but we need more salt put down on that stoop and in that driveway. It's been icy, and I'm not kidding you. I've had experience with it. So that is my comment for tonight.
All right, thank you.
You bet.
I'm Robert Kennedy, and I happen to be a member of the library board, and I discovered something very recently. I found out that there's a bunch of our elder citizens who are having a wonderful, wonderful time in our library, and they're playing cards. There's about 35 to 40 of them. But I noticed even before I became a library board member, and I recognize one of our official members are here now, that I would try and park, and I had to park down the street. That was, well, minor inconvenience. I happen to be 80 years old, but I'm in pretty good health, and so no problem. Except I met at a library meeting very recently, and we had some issues, and we talked to some of these ladies, and I realized they aren't quite as spry as I am. Their physical difficulties are sometimes considerable. And if they have to park a long way away in order to participate in these activities, that's really a tough thing, especially in winter. I hope you'll acknowledge what John Bruce said. We need a 4-hour parking along the east side to give them a chance, because you go in there on the days that they're doing it, there's 35 to 40 of their members there, plus other members because of the wonderful things the parking lot, the library is doing, and you can't find a parking spot. On that east side, there's usually 1 or 2 spots, but even they get filled. If you make it a 4-hour spot, at least those older people can get in, play their games of cards, and get out of there without having to walk 2 blocks to get there. By the way, I also join with what John says about that handrail. It'd be very easy to slip or fall as you're going up on that side door on the north side. And that's where the elder people enter. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Do we have anyone else for public comment? Asking again, anyone? Public comment is closed. We've got a consent agenda. Meeting minutes for the Common Council from August 19th and the Human Resources Committee from August 26th. And the second item is a temporary Class B beer and a Class B wine license for the Nicholas D. Sergi Foundation at 622 East Court Street. They're having a fundraiser, Family Farm and Faith Festival, September 28th, 2024, from 2 to 6. Can we keep those together?
I'm fine with it.
Yeah. Entertain a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as listed.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Any questions, any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. The mayor's report, we've got a proclamation here, which I'll read out. City of Elkhorn proclamation, whereas there are more than 265 local chambers of commerce serving villages, towns, cities, and counties and regions throughout Wisconsin, and whereas these chambers provide a wide variety of services to their members, including advocacy, education, and economic development, and whereas many chambers also promote tourism and other community events while working to solve economic challenges and encourage entrepreneurship, and whereas our chambers of commerce are critical community partners and problem solvers with the unique ability to work through stakeholders from both private, to work with stakeholders from both private and public sectors, and whereas September is recognized annually as Chamber of Commerce Month in the hopes of encouraging chambers of commerce to spotlight their work and facilitate greater community connection, and whereas this month, the state of Wisconsin joins all Wisconsinites in commending the local Chamber of Commerces across our state that work hard to make Wisconsin a better place to live, work, and play. Now, therefore, I, Tim Schroeder, Mayor of the City of Elkhorn, do hereby proclaim September as Chamber of Commerce Month, dated this date, September 2024. Then next, we have the swearing in of a new Assistant Fire Chief, Bradley Suchka. If you'll come up here, Bradley.
If you raise your right hand, I, Bradley Alvin Suchka,
I, Bradley Elvin Suchka,
as the Assistant Fire Chief of the Elkhorn Area Fire Department,
as the Assistant Fire Chief of the Elkhorn Area Fire Department,
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin.
and the Constitution of the State of Wisconsin.
I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially discharge the duties of the office of Assistant Fire Chief
I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially discharge the duties of the office of Assistant Fire Chief
of the Elkhorn Area Fire Department.
of the Elkhorn Area Fire Department.
I will never allow my personal feelings nor danger to self deter me from my responsibilities.
I will never allow my personal feelings nor danger to self deter me from my personal responsibilities.
I pledge to carry out the duties as the Assistant Fire Chief to the best of my ability,
I pledge to carry out the duties as Assistant Fire Chief to the best of my ability,
and will honor and respect the mission, goals, purpose, and policies of the Elkhorn Area Fire Department.
and will honor to respect the mission, goals, purpose, and policies of the Elkhorn Area Fire Department.
I recognize that the badge of my office as a symbol of public faith and trust,
I recognize that the badge of my office as a symbol of public faith and trust,
and I accept so long as I am true to the ethics of the fire service.
and I accept so long as I am true to the ethics of the fire service.
As the Assistant Fire Chief of the Elkhorn Area Fire Department,
As the Assistant Fire Chief of the Elkhorn Area Fire Department,
I accept this self-imposed and self-enforced obligation as my responsibility.
I accept this self-imposed and self-enforced obligation as my responsibility,
And make these promises freely without mental reservations or purpose of evasion.
and make these promises freely without mental reservation or purpose of evasion.
And I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office upon which I'm about to enter.
And I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office upon which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, City Administrator. Adam. I don't know if we're letting people click or not, but I think they're gonna take off.
Yeah, you can clear out if you want, so.
Everybody leaves.
I'll just go ahead here. A couple of quick updates tonight. One, I just wanted to recognize and our electric superintendent, BZ Kaiser. He recently celebrated his 35th anniversary working for the city of Elkhorn. So I know BZ's not here tonight, but I just wanted to recognize that. Thank BZ for his service. For those of you who have driven downtown recently by the chamber, you'll see that there's a park under development, Uncle Hunk's Junk Park. It's next to the chamber. It's being funded in part by the Vibrant Spaces grant that the city got about a year and a half ago. Also an ARP grant, and then a donation from Sue Wallem. The goal is that that should be done by September 19th. I know the chamber's got their ribbon cutting / 50th anniversary on the 19th. This is a park that's technically on private property, but will be open to the public. Just wanted to also mention that the Park and Rec Department, for the first time, has started a before and after school program. Today was the first day of that before and after school program. It's for grades K through 5. Right now, they've got 44 kids who are participating in total, some in the morning, some in the afternoon. They can have up to 48 in the morning and 48 in the afternoon, so they are still accepting registrations. It sounds like seems like those are continuing to kind of filter in, but so they are offering that. So Creekside did submit their specific implementation plan last Friday. That was kind of the last piece of the puzzle we were waiting on. So the goal is that that should be on hopefully the Planning Commission agenda for October 5th for review. And just a reminder that the new building permit fees, which the council approved at the last meeting, will be in effect as of this Thursday, because that's when they could be published. But the ordinances could be published in the paper. So those are my updates.
Okay, thank you, Adam. Committee reports. We've got a Human Resources Committee report.
Thank you, Mayor. We met on August 26th. All of these items I'm going to touch on real briefly because I believe if I follow the agenda correctly, they're all up for discussion and possible action. But the first item we discussed was to change the primary health care network for all city employees from Health EOS to HPS/Paymedics. That would begin on January 1st, 2025. Casey worked with Gallagher, our city broker, and they found that this change could equate to, I want to say, up to $300,000 So that'll be coming up for a vote here in a second. We discussed several personnel policy and procedure manual changes, including PTO minimum increments and grounds for disciplinary action. We also talked about changing the current PTO policy. Currently, our employees get 50% carryover, and the change request that went through our committee and is going towards the full council shortly is to make that up to 75% to stay competitive with other county employees and to give the employees more control on how to use and manage their own PTO. And then finally, we had a closed session where we discussed a recommendation to create an HR manager position for the city, and that will be discussed here shortly as well. So that is everything from Human Resources.
Okay, thank you, Scott. New business, we've got discussion and possible decision regarding whether to direct city attorney to prepare city ordinance amending city code to permit ATVs, UTVs on County Road H between Centralia and Robbincrest and other roads in the city with speed limits greater than 35. This came about because the town of Geneva did pass their ordinance, and now we're trying to coordinate so everybody's on the same page. So,
I have a question. Do we have any 55-mile-an-hour zones in the city?
The only small section of 55 would be on Highway 12 as you're getting off onto 1267, where it goes from 70 down to 55. That would be
Right when you come off?
correct. That would be the only stretch
Right
of
before it goes to
55 that's actually
45.
in the city.
Okay. So I would not be opposed to just having 45 and under, because most of our streets are 35 and under. But we do have a couple sections of Highway H and a little bit of 67.
Yeah, the map that I have up now kind of shows it. So this area of South Lincoln Street would be above 35, H obviously above 35, and then north of town on 12.
I'm with you. I'm okay with the change so long as it doesn't exceed 45.
Yeah.
The way it looks, the town of Geneva passed it regardless of the speed limits, like anything.
Right, and
So-
same with the county is, so
Right.
55, whatever, but.
Right. I think 45 is, for that little piece where in your district, I think that's fine, but I wouldn't want to go anything above that for sure.
Well, and just for reference too, if the council wants to, use a speed limit for defining the locations, you can do that. Otherwise, you could, if the goal is simply to capture H, you can define it just on H if you wanted to. I'm just throwing that out there that it's, it's obviously up to the council, but it's not like you have to choose a speed limit. You could choose a specific location as well.
Well, I was just thinking from just simplicity,
Okay.
as people are starting to use this stuff more, is, 45 and under, you're good to go anywhere in the city.
Right.
Let's keep it simple.
Right.
That's kind of the thought. Chief, you have a?
Well, the only thing I have some reservation about is 1267. As busy as that road is and as fast as those vehicles travel on 1267, you know, it's a 40.
From Jackson? From
12,
Jackson?
no, from 1267, from
Oh, from that
going
point.
north, yeah. That can be a dangerous stretch, 1267,
Especially with that merge in there.
yes.
they're not allowed on there now anyway, are they? Because they're.
Correct, but if
MTA
you were to
group.
change it to 45, they would be.
I think, isn't it state law that they can't go on numbered highways?
No, they can.
They can, really? Okay.
Well, then let's keep it.
Carve that out.
Yeah, carve that piece out.
Let's carve that piece out.
Just
and
leave
have
it for your subdivision.
We don't,
Everything but that section, 45 and under.
okay. Would this include Reamer Road then, so that Jackson Creek has some
Yeah.
connectivity?
Yeah, I would say so, and it's 35 anyway, and that butts up with Geneva and Delvin, I think is just on the other side.
Mound Road on the other
Right.
side
Right.
there.
Town hall.
Yeah, it's a split.
Yeah.
That one
So
is.
That would be a split, now one's only 35 anyway. So Reamer Road's only 35.
I'm all for keeping them off 12 and 67,
for sure.
whether north or south,
For
doesn't
sure,
matter.
sure.
And 11 for that matter, east or west.
Well, 11 is all 25, 35 and then 25, which would already apply to what we already have, as I recall.
Joel, can you refresh my memory? When you leave Elkhorn East on Court Street, you go from 25 to 35 on 11. Does it go 35 to 55 or 35 to 45, and then you're out of the city anyway?
35 to 50.
Is that what it is?
35, right out of the city at
Cobb Road.
Cobb is 55, I believe.
But
It
that's
goes
out of the
But
35.
that's out of the city.
Correct.
Okay,
yes.
so we'll be okay then.
So then we're good.
Yeah, okay.
So,
problem with age, going out of town?
You will not be able to go,
I'm not sure, I mean, I'm just asking because
you will not be able to go south on H towards Como, because that's 55, right?
well, that's out of us. That's Geneva.
Oh, you're right, you're right. No, it shouldn't be an issue.
No, so,
This is what they have, Joe.
yeah, that's outside of us.
Yeah,
So, and Geneva approved 55.
right,
or-
for them.
Anyway,
And that's
so-
their enforcement.
So I'd make a motion to move forward with that, changing everything to 45 with the exception of the 1267 spur, leaving that
can I just-
restricted.
I'll second. Go ahead, Matt.
Thanks, I'm sorry about that. I was just pulling up the map, we actually got it today from the county. So this is ATV, UTV denoted in green for countywide with all 4 townships. And it looks like 67, according to this map that I just got today, is not included in that.
Okay,
So
so then we'll leave it out.
leave it out.
You'd want to probably leave it out because you'd have half town of Delavan saying you can't, and the other half Elkhorn saying you can, so it's
So
going to be a little confusing.
I'll amend my motion to also have 67 as listed exempt.
And I'll amend my
Accepted.
second.
Yep.
Got a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
well, on this new map, back to H going out of town on the north side, like H and Foster, that's, the green's all the ATV, UTV track, right?
Mhm.
Isn't that, are we far enough, I mean, I'm not sure where it goes to 55 there. Is it after Potter Road?
It's after it leaves the city of Elkhorn anyway.
It's in the town of Sugar Creek.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, it all is, never mind.
Yeah, it's Church Street for us until it turns into H.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're
Okay,
good.
it's right there then.
Yeah, it's right there past the
I
curve.
didn't realize that.
Yep.
It's okay.
So it looks like the ad, just so I'm clear if that's okay, the ad would be on H in this stretch, and then also Reamer Road,
Yep.
those 2 locations.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
I heard 45.
But using
above.
45 as the guide, except for Highway 67 and then the Highway 1267.
Yeah.
So 45 is still
So you're
it.
not going to be defining by street, you're going to be
By-
defining by speed limit with the
Except for-
exception of
yes.
67 and 12.
Yes. Yep.
All right, any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. We've got discussion and possible decision regarding changing primary health network for city employees from Health EOS to HPS/paymedics starting January 1st, 2025, and using Health EOS as a secondary wraparound coverage starting January 1st, 2025.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Any questions?
I'd like to ask, normally when people change health insurance companies, the new one come in and always lowballs the last one. And then a year or 2 later, you're back to the same type of fees you were paying in the first place. I don't know if that's gonna happen here, but that's been my experience in the past, seeing, 15, 20, 30% increases year over year. I just don't want us to get caught in that. I don't know, I mean, does anybody understand, how well do we know these companies?
Well, our broker did the research, and the employees will still have access to 97.5% of the current medical providers they already have. So it'll be a minimal change, it'll be a minimal change for the employees that are affected. And it's looking like it's going to be up to a $300,000 savings for the city by switching providers.
And how do we save the 300,000?
Yeah, and just for clarification, I understand your question and concern, Alderman Hartness. When we were looking at health insurance starting last January, we were looking at potentially switching, right now the city, we have a self-insured plan, and so we were looking at different options, one of which was going to a fully insured plan where, through Blue Cross or, one of those.
You're going from self to,
No, we opted not to in part because what you were talking about, which was they said, okay, well, we can offer you some savings the year one, but then you have to anticipate 10 to 15% increases every thereafter. So we didn't do that. So all this has to do with is the contracted discount rate that we have with the current providers.
97%.
So like when you get your statement saying that there's the discount, like the PPO discount,
Right.
rather than it saying, 20% or 27%-ish averaging, it should be closer to 40 or more percent for the city. So therefore, the city will be just paying reduced claim costs, but we're not actually changing the health insurance plan itself. So,
Gotcha. That sounds pretty well. You guys did a pretty good job from the sounds of it.
and just for clarification too, that the reason we'd be proposing to use Health EOS as the secondary wrap coverage is just for that 2.5% of people who wouldn't be in network through HPS, so they're still going to be covered. So no employees should be losing access to any medical providers that they're currently using. Furthermore, whether something's covered, not covered is all governed by the plan documents that aren't changing for the city. So it's purely, this just has to do with the contracted rate from the providers on the cost of the services, so.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Adam. Any further questions? Like a roll call vote, please?
Scott McClory,
Yes.
Ron Dunwoody,
Yes.
Peter Harvey,
Yes.
Ken Minell,
Yes.
Gary Payson Jr.,
Yes.
Kurt Harkness.
Yes.
Motion passes. We've got a discussion of possible decision regarding proposed resolution 24-28, a resolution amending portions of the City of Elkhorn Personnel Policies and Procedures Manual pertaining to conditions of employment, discipline, paid time off, medical leave, and health insurance contributions.
I make a motion to approve Resolution 2428.
Second.
We've got a motion and a second. Any questions? Comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Discussion of possible decision regarding preparing an RFP for professional auditing services. Is that you, Adam?
Yeah, well, I guess I would just say we have our current contract with CLA. They've been our auditor since 2021. The previous auditor merged with CLA, so the contract expires at the end of '24. So if we want to switch to a different auditing firm, we need to do an RFP. I wouldn't say that, neither the treasurer nor the finance director, and I don't want to speak for Corey, but they're not suggesting that they're dissatisfied. And in this case, they do think there's a value in sticking with the same auditor because they're obviously more familiar with how the city operates, our accounting practices, et cetera. So Corey, do you want to?
I think with utilities, our electric utilities and stuff, they know our numbers, they help us with the PSC report and stuff, and I feel like they do a good job, so I wouldn't mind not doing an RFP, but if council would like to, we can.
Have they proposed a contract yet?
No.
I would not be in favor of an RFP unless their contract comes back with a major increase, then we need to.
Okay. We'll get a proposal and bring it back.
Only if their
Yeah, if it
contract's
seems-
gonna
if
go
it-
crazy.
Right, if it seems way out of whack with what they currently have been charging us the last 3 years, then we could go ahead and open it up.
Right.
I agree.
Okay, so we don't really
And this is
need
a
to take
year,
any
a
action.
year-over-year
It's a
contract?
3-year.
That's a 3-year contract?
Yeah, and it expires the end of this year.
And over the last 3 years, was there a stepped increase or anything, or was it across the board?
Yeah, they had increases, I don't remember the percentages.
I think it was like between
yeah.
3%.
Yeah.
That's fine, that's
But we signed a 3-year
respectable.
deal,
Yeah,
knowing
yeah.
that there was going to be those increases each
Yeah.
of those 3 years.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, if we don't see anything, if we see similar,
All right, no action is necessary, so we'll move on. We've got a payment application number 2 from Payne and Dolan for the Highway 67 bypass lane project in the amount of $56,279.23.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion? Roll call, please.
Gary Payson Jr.,
Yes.
Peter Harvey,
Yes.
Kurt Harkness,
Yes.
Scott McClory,
Yes.
Ken Minell,
Yes.
Ron Dunwoody.
Yes.
Motion passes. We've got discussion and possible decision regarding ordinance number 24-09, an ordinance to rezone the parcel tax key FD 300001 located at 5711 Amos Road from A1 to A5. First and possible second reading.
Make a motion to waive the first reading.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to waive the first reading. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion passes. So now we've got the second reading.
I'll make a motion to approve second reading.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Discussion of possible decision regarding a conditional use permit for James Radershat, JR Automotive, for auto sales and service at 5788 State Road 11.
I make a motion to approve.
I would second.
Got a motion and a second?
If I may. Would that be for the reasons stated in the report from your zoning administrator and subject to the conditions recommended by the Plan Commission?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Keep us straight.
Sure, yeah, that's it.
All right, we've got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. And now we'd like a motion to go into closed session. Do I need to read these different statute sections?
You do,
Should I read
yes.
items A
Start,
through
just go
B and
through.
C?
Yep.
All right, before we go into closed session, I'd just like to read that the Common Council may entertain a motion to go into closed session for the reasons below pursuant to Wisconsin Statute Section 19.85 1C to consider a performance and compensation review, pursuant to Wisconsin Statute Section 19.85 1C to consider employment or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercise responsibility, and pursuant to Wisconsin State Statutes 19.85 1B to consider dismissal, demotion, or discipline of any public employee for the investigation of charges against such person, and pursuant to Wisconsin statute sections 19.85 1D to consider strategies for crime prevention and detection. Do I have a motion to go into closed session?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
You have to do roll call.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry, we need to do a roll call vote.
Okay, Gary Payson Jr.,
Yes.
Ron Dunwoody,
Yes.
Ken Minell,
Yes.
Peter Harvey,
Yes.
Scott McClory,
Yes.
Kurt Harkness.
Yes.
We will be reconvening into open session for possible action on the closed session items.
Okay, it's 6:33, we're back in open session.
We've got item A, a discussion regarding creating an HR manager's position and selecting HR generalist Casey Keough to fill that position.
I'd like to make a motion to approve with going to labor grade 15, step 3, effective on her anniversary date.
Second.
And I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Just for note-keeping purposes, we did agree at the HR committee level to leave the HR generalist position open and vacant for the time being, just kind of a placeholder. So at some point down the road, we may want to fill it, just so everyone's clear on that.
Okay, thanks, Scott.
I've got a question about her contract.
Yes.
Okay. On page 4, about two-thirds of the way down, it says works effectively. It sounds kind of unenforceable. What is the definition of works effectively? That's my only point.
You're talking about a job description?
I'm talking about the contract we wrote up. It's page 4 on the three-quarters of the way down, page 4 of the contract.
I don't know if I have that to bring up.
It would be the job description. I'm not aware that there was a contract in
No
your
contract.
closed session
Yeah, it's a job
packet.
description. Yeah, just, yeah.
I don't have that in front of me, so I can't refer to
I
that.
know it's on page 4, and it says
Okay.
works effectively.
Maybe somehow the rest of the sentence got deleted. We could look into that.
It was up, it's one of the things on our.
it is?
Yeah. It's got some strike throughs and stuff. You've got it, Matt.
No, you have the policy manual,
Oh.
I think, in the regular packet.
It was in the closed session packet, so.
Oh, that's why you don't have it. Sorry.
That's right.
I mean, to be honest, a lot of the language in the job descriptions is somewhat.
Boilerplate.
Well, it's like, how do you make it enforceable? Works effectively.
Well,
that's-
that's not her contract. That's just a job description of what the HR manager is responsible for. So works effectively, of course, would mean they work cooperatively, productively, towards an end goal in a positive way. That'd be my interpretation of works effectively.
Yeah, I mean, we
They're
could
not an
definitely look into it to
obstructionist.
see if it was just something that got deleted by accident.
No, she added that intentionally. I mean,
Oh.
it was added intentionally to the job description.
So I just, like I said, I mean, if it's a job description, then it's, I mean.
It
still brings
says, yeah, it says, currently says ability to communicate, under knowledge, skills, and abilities, says ability to communicate and work effectively with department heads, elected officials, consultants, fellow employees, and the public.
Basically doesn't need hand-holding.
I just don't want it to be if we need it to be enforceable, I'm bringing it up because it could be considered what's effectively.
It's enforceable.
That's all I'm saying.
It's enforceable.
Okay.
Can we get a roll call vote?
Gary Payson Jr.,
Yes.
Scott McClory,
Yes.
Ron Dunwoody,
Yes.
Peter Harvey,
Yes.
Ken Minell,
Yes.
and Kurt Harkness.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. We've got discussion, possible decision regarding proposed agreement between the city of Elkhorn and Walworth County for law enforcement services.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Gary Payson Jr.,
Yes.
Ron Dunwoody,
Yes.
Scott McClory,
Yes.
Kurt Harkness,
Yes.
Ken Minell,
Yes.
Peter Harvey.
Yes.
Motion passes. Motion to adjourn,
So moved.
second? Do we have a second somewhere?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion dies.
We're adjourned.
Motion carried.